Hello, gorgeous. I am Abiola from sacredbombshell.com, and I have you right where I want you because today we are going to be talking about a hot topic that we all need to know about, but that none of us want to address. So we're talking about letting it all go through the process of forgiveness. Ooh, stay with me for a second. The reason why the idea of forgiveness is a turnoff is that men have been, if you live long enough on this planet, you're going to feel betrayed. You're going to feel like someone misunderstood you. You're going to feel like someone did you wrong, basically. And so we want to blame other people, shame other people, judge other people, make other people wrong. But at the same time, we do the same thing to ourselves, right? Because how we do anything is how we do everything, right? So we want to blame and shame others, but it often backfires because the way that we're treating other people is the way that we're treating ourselves. So I want you to stay with me because I'm going to be teaching you Hoponopono, which is an ancient Hawaiian ritual for forgiveness. Now, I've written about this in the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, and this is on one of my meditation albums, but this is a process that we can never do too much of. And the reason is that although we may think that it's about forgiving someone else, as I already said, that, the person that we have the most blame for, the most shame for, the most judgment of, is he or she in the mirror. And if you're feeling stuck or blocked in your life, or like things are not moving forward for you, which is all the same thing, a big part of it is that there is someone or something that you need to forgive and let go of. Now, I can tell you, my beautiful mommy, my mother will talk about grudges and things that happened to her in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s with like fresh vigor and fresh energy that you will think that she's talking about something that just happened. And these things still have a trigger for her because she hasn't let go of them. She's still attached to them. And so when we have all of these things in our consciousness, it's clutter. It's emotional clutter. It's spiritual clutter. It's taking up the energy and the space that you need to do the real work that you were born to do on this planet. And so then you feel stuck because it's like you're literally carrying all this luggage and carrying all this stuff around with you. Maybe you either turn it inward on yourself as depression, you turn it outward on others as anger. You can even, a lot of people translate it into becoming a spiritual or energetic vampire, trying to suck people because they have lost sight of and control of their own. And so the Hoponopono process is a new way to think about forgiveness. Forgiveness is actually quite freeing. It's actually a way of releasing others to go do what they've got to do, and so that you can do what you've got to do. And so I think that that's a really helpful way to think about it because, the reason why when spiritual teachers or coaches start to talk about forgiveness, we think that people think, okay, that we're talking about invite them over and now you've got to be their best friend. And it's like, no, you are taking responsibility for something that has taken place in your life. You're the star and the subject of your own life, and you're not making anyone else responsible for your happiness. Woo! Let's let that land for a second. Now, this video is being created actually for a very special group of people, but I'm glad that everyone who is watching it can benefit from it. I'm creating it for the women who are a part of my Spiritpreneur Unblocked Energy Shift, a 14-day challenge to get you unstuck. If you want, you can, depending on when you're watching this, right now when I'm recording it, it's October 2016, and we are at unblockmyenergy.com, unblockmyenergy.com. Now, we started out by making, to prepare for this course, it's a 14-day series of rituals, practices, and prompts to move energy. So we started out by making a list of everything and everybody that we are tolerating in our lives. So in essence, if you wanted to do a beautifully spiritual, transformative action over your life, you could take everything that is on that list that you have not let go of, and you could do a Hoponopono healing process that we're going to do over everything on that list. So we started out with that list of tolerations. Then the day after we did the list of tolerations, we started out on day one with putting all of the tolerations in what we created as a God box. From there, we then put that on an altar or sacred space. We then moved on to the next assignment on day 4, which was our mission statement. And then our day 5 assignment was to ask someone for help. Ooh, hard for a lot of us. And then our day 6 assignment, I think, was our pay it forward. Yes. Day 7, we took a full moon self-love bath. Day 8, we wrote a confrontation letter, which brings us to day 9, where we are doing the Hoponopono energy, the Hoponopono forgiveness ritual. So whether you've done these or not, I urge you to begin by whoever it is that you're feeling like you need to let go of. Start by writing them that confrontation letter. Write it out. Get it all out. I did mine yesterday, and I have to tell you, it was interesting because, you know, I'm doing this work as I'm sharing it with you. There were things that I thought that I wrote to a friend who's no longer in my life, and there were things I thought that I dealt with and let go of, but a lot of stuff bubbled to the surface and came there. So write out a confrontation letter. You're not going to send it. Write it out. Writing it out longhand is often more energetically aligned than, you know, putting it in your phone or typing it or something like that. If you can, write it out. Write these words out. Write this letter to this person, and then read it out loud. And then now that brings us to the Hoponopono energy shift. Okay, so this is also considered, some people call it a prayer. Some people call it a mantra. Some people call it a practice. Whatever you call it, just do it, because it really works. I have seen firsthand how this works. I had this experience of being on, I go on a lot of talk shows and I give advice. And on this particular talk show, this was a young guy from Chicago who was a gang member. All of his friends and family were afraid of him. From backstage, I have to confess, I felt a little bit nervous about, you know, going out there without security to try to give this young man advice. You know, he was belligerent, he was cursing, he was knocking things over, and he was hurt. He felt broken inside. He felt abandoned by the people he loved. And so when I came out, you know, I had his family members each put a hand on him. Now, he had cursed them all out 6 ways to Sunday. I had them each put a hand on him. And I had us in the audience, everyone in the audience, us on the stage, all, and him. He wouldn't do it, but his family members repeat, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you." I have to tell you, by the end of this show, this segment, this young man who had just cursed out everybody got up, gave me a hug, gave his family members a hug, and was crying. Okay, they only showed like 60% of it on TV. If I have the link, I don't remember if it's on my site. If I have the link, I will post it below. But it was really emotional for me to see this transformation. And for me, you know, although because it was a show that was more about confrontation and anger and sensationalism, they were a little bit upset that I brought this spiritual practice there. But for me, the transformation that this young man had with his family was worth all of it. You know, whether they never chose to hire me or pay me ever again, that it was worth it, that he had this shift. So again, the words in this mantra or prayer are, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you." And as I said at the beginning, you can do this either for specific people. You can and should do it for yourself in a mirror. You will end up crying, which is good, because that's how we create shifts and energy moves, with our tears, our movement, and our voice. You can, you know, the person doesn't need to know that you are making an energetic change in your relationship. You are attached to, energetically and spiritually and emotionally, everyone and everything that you have not released. And so this will allow you to be able to move on. Now, some people challenge the words, you know, like you're saying, "I'm sorry. Why am I sorry? They did me in." It helps to think of the person as a small child or a little baby, right? We know that hurt people hurt other people. So think of them as that small child, you know, because you're speaking to their heart, you're speaking to the purest part of them, and you are taking responsibility. You are taking responsibility. You let them into your life, right? You chose to participate. That no matter what happens, nothing is never a one-sided thing. We all have a symbiotic relationship. And you being a being that is aware of herself, who is taking control of her life, has the power as the queen goddess that you are to be like, I am sorry. You can even start out, if it feels odd to you, saying, I'm sorry to yourself that you allowed yourself to be in this situation, until it transfers into realizing, you know, that you're in this symbiotic relationship with them. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me for my part in it. Right? Okay, so let's take those words. Please forgive me. So you may wonder, with the young man on stage, how am I chanting, please forgive me? I don't know him. Why am I telling him, please forgive me? Because I've been an active participant in the conditions that led to his life. As a human being on this planet, who, you know, I haven't done anything specifically to counteract drug violence and guns and youth in Chicago. We're all in this thing together, and that's how we're approaching this. You know, it's bringing tears to my eyes. When you're thinking specifically of a person in your life who perhaps did something ugly to you, you can be like, okay, please forgive me for us being in this situation together. Please forgive me as another human being. Please forgive me for not having seen your humanness and your brokenness and what you brought to the table. Please forgive me for me being in this situation and not seeing you for who you truly are. Please forgive me for me trying to make you into something that you were not, me trying to see you as something other than who you are. Please forgive me for not allowing you to just be. Right? So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Oh, that's a challenging one, right? Because why do I love them? How can I love them? Again, think of them as a small child. Think of them as a beautiful baby, you know, who was just born into this world. Come from a place of love, because love is the most healing and transformative energy. Everything else is fear. So I love you. And chances are, if it's somebody that you're thinking that you hate, you probably do love them. You probably do have an attachment to them. So I love you. I love you. And then thank you. Thank them at the end for the process. You can think of thank you as bless you. You're blessing them. All right. You're blessing the process. I've seen this also work with Iyanla and Oprah. That I've been a long time student, as many of you are, of Iyanla from way back, from her first book, Tapping the Power Within. And so I know that, you know, she is a student of and a practitioner of the Hoponopono practice. And years ago, when her and Oprah had that confrontation sit down and the beef, I saw it. Iyanla was saying the words not in order, but she was saying it throughout what she was saying. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And she said it repeatedly. And Oprah moved from being like, no, but Iyanla, you did this and you were wrong and da 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 da, to being like, okay, I get it. I get it. It transformed. It transformed the energy. They did this in the Hawaiian penal system, in a correctional facility for the criminally insane. That this doctor, he sat and he chanted this. This was the worst prison in Hawaii. No one wanted to work there. Everyone was depressed. It was just like a zoo. And by him doing this energetic shift, this prayer, this mantra, it transformed the energy of these criminally insane people and transform the energy thereby of the community. So we can do this. We can do this for the people in our lives. We can do this for ourselves. We can do this for this planet. And so your homework is right now, you've written a letter to somebody who has pissed you off, has betrayed you, has done you wrong. And now you are going to ask them and ask yourself for forgiveness. So you're going to start off with them. You're going to then move to yourself. I want you to do the whole cycle of all 4 of the asks, maybe about 5 or 6 times. Let's say 6 times for each, for 6 times for them, 6 times for you. I'm sorry. Say it with me. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And you'll see other teachers rearrange the phrases in different ways. Do what works for you. This I have directly found and seen to be transformative, this order that I'm doing. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And I want you to do it then also with yourself. Look yourself in the eyes like you are looking me in the eyes. And well, if you're watching the video, if you're doing audio, you're not. But look yourself in the eyes in a mirror, your bathroom mirror, or just sit down in the mirror, get comfortable. Maybe lotus position, have some incense, some candles burning. Ritualize this and treat it with reverence and respect because it's a transformational activity. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've ever tried or used Hoponopono. Are there things in your life that you need to forgive and let go? What forgiveness feels like and looks like for you? Is this something you do easily, unlike the rest of us, or something that you need to work on? And how you just feel in general about doing this process with someone you need to forgive. And if you've done the process, leave me a comment and let me know how it's going and how it worked in your life, okay? So I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Namaste, my darling. The sacred bombshell in me sees, adores, and accepts the sacred bombshell in you. See you next time. Making some